Hey guys, been gone for a little bit. We're back. Just wanted to say, everyone stay safe. Please, we're thinking of you. Please stay safe, stay home, take care of yourself, take care of your families, and together we will get through this. Always together. Hey everyone, how are you doing today? Um, Coach Milton here, and today we're going to talk about scanning. We're going to talk about scanning. We're going to talk mainly about scanning from the player perspective. We're going to look at scanning from the player perspective, and later on in another video, we'll look at scanning from the coach's perspective, how to teach it, why it's important, all of these things. But from a player perspective, it is something I stress a great deal, have stressed for a long, long time. And as a highly unsuccessful player in my youth, I didn't think much about it, didn't know much about it. It wasn't really, how do I say, without disparaging anyone, wasn't enforced upon me or pushed towards me. I wasn't encouraged as much to do it. But scanning, for all intents and purposes, is the act of actively searching your surroundings within the playing field. That's it. Actively searching your surroundings. That's the basic definition. Then we go a little bit further and add searching your surroundings for information. And then we can go a little bit further into where we separate important information from non-important information. Okay? At the most banal sense, we could say, oh, all right, he has shin guards on, and this opponent is right next to my teammate. We're separating that very quickly. We know that person has shin guards. We already knew it before. That's not important information. This person is right next to my teammate. That is important information. Whether I have the ball or not, whether I'm going to receive the ball or not, that is important information. So that's number one. And then we do this in our minds without even thinking of it. Our brains do it already, right? So I'm just going a little scientific very, very quickly because it's been too long since I studied neurosciences. Anyway, and then we're going to create a hierarchy in our minds. All right, this is all subconsciously, really. It's going to be how pertinent is that information? How important is it to me? How important is it to me? It could very well be I am receiving the ball. That opponent is next to my teammate. This opponent is closing me down right here, this way, coming this way. Okay? In this scenario, depending on our level, depending on our style of play, this information here that this person is coming right to me is more important than that information. That also depends on our teammate's ability. Because if we feel our teammate, those guys, if you feel our teammate can handle the ball when he has someone on him, no issues. But that's not always the case, and it also depends on where you are on the field, of course, right? So this information for me, this person closing me down right here, is more pertinent to me than the fact that my teammate is covered over there, because I know very well that I have a good first touch and I can take my first touch to the right and create more space or even potentially eliminate this defender that's pressing me. That's one information. Other information in that is how quickly and how aggressively this person is pressing me. If you know they're going to press you to just stop in front of you and guide you somewhere, that's one thing. If you know they're going to press you to try to take the ball, it's a completely other thing. And that's something else that, without even thinking, you will recognize with experience, right? You will recognize and you'll grow. And that experience of just playing, but watching, observing, talking, all of these things. You bring it all together. So that is scanning, searching actively for pertinent information within your environment. Now, why is it important? I don't think we discussed the why. The why of it is quite simple. It's like anything in life, the more you know about it, the better you are equipped to adjust, adapt, and act in said situation. That is what you want to do. You want to have as much information as possible to act. You don't go into a test not having studied at all and expecting to succeed, right? What other example do we have? We're going to stick to that example. All right. Okay. In soccer, and you see it in other sports, so many sports, you see it in basketball, you see it in everything, all those team sports. Consistently scanning the field to know what's around you, to know where your teammates are. What did Saki say? Arrigo Saki. The 4 references. What do we know? The ball, reference. Where you, right? Your opponents, your teammates. Those are the 4 references. Of course, and you have the field of play, right? And where the goals are, which shouldn't be underestimated, because you have to know where the goal is, and that is something that has to actually be taught, and learned as well. Okay, don't just be a receiver, go and actively learn. All right, but those are the references, correct? Correct. Now, if you do not know where that information is, if you do not have that information, can you act to the best of your abilities? Not too often. Let's look at Xavi Hernandez, Barcelona midfield great. He used to say, I always check my shoulders, I always check my information when I'm about to receive the ball. If I have not checked for information, if I have not had the time to do so, ball's arriving too quickly, I'm in enclosed space, I always pass it back. I always pass it back to where it came from. One of the greatest players to ever do it. Euro champion, La Liga champion, Champions League champion, World Cup champion, Club World Cup championship, whatever you want. One of the best to ever do it. He says, if I do not have the information, I give it back. He said, I am always looking, and those few occasions when I don't, I pass it back. What do we get from that? Check your shoulders as much as possible. What's the other part? If you have not, play the way you face. Play to the open player. If she passed you the ball like this and you did not have time to check over your shoulder, you're back to the goal, back to the opposition goal, where you want to go, the direction we are trying to go, because that is the objective of soccer, right? You have the option to pass it back. Okay? Now, I rarely say to my players, don't dribble, don't try things. You want them to learn. I want you guys to learn and progress. But you got to make the right decision at the right time. And that's what we're looking for scanning, to consistently look over. There was a study done about how high players, how often they look around themselves. It was ridiculous. Xavi was at the top. You had Lampard, Gerrard, Pirlo close to them. What are all these? World-class midfielders. Former, they are retired. They do not play anymore. But our goal is to improve ourselves and to consistently look over. The ball's coming this way, I'm looking over here. Even if the ball's not coming, I'm constantly looking, because I know that eventually, I'm moving, I'm going to get that ball. Or we might lose the ball because, soccer is interspaced play. That means the ball's going to be lost and collected quite often. So you got to consistently know where you are. You got to know where your teammate is so you can get her the ball as quickly as possible. You got to know where the goal is, so as soon as you take that first touch, you can take a shot off. Scanning is the difference. Okay, speed of play. When you go somewhere and you've dominated with a certain level, and you're saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to tryouts. I got this," or, "Okay, all right, I've joined the semi-pro level, or I'm trying out for a semi-pro level. I'm doing a trial, or I got a scholarship, so I should be good. But this is another level. I'm a freshman, or I'm finally getting a chance to play with the first team, and you struggle." I remember one player I had known, the youth team, went to have a trial with a semi-pro team, came back, and he said to me, so fast. That's the difference, the speed of play. The speed of play. And that speed of play comes, yes, some technique, of course, and all of that, and understanding, but with having your information much quicker, much sooner, and thus being able to make a decision much quicker, much sooner, and for one, being less stressed, being more confident, and two, being able to execute correctly. So, scanning is searching actively for pertinent information to make the best and quickest decision possible. And that doesn't necessarily mean as soon as you get the ball, you pass it. There is a reason to hold on to that ball at times. It doesn't mean as soon as you get the ball, you dribble for 40 yards up the field. Everything depends on it, and that's up to you to decide what the best decision is. So help yourself make that best decision as quickly as possibly and as effectively as possibly by searching around for your environment. And obviously, don't forget to scan and hit the subscribe button.